charts before we get into everything. I just want to thank each and every one of you for being part of this audience, for the over 44,700 of you that have allowed me to express myself in a way that is liberating, in a sense that I can share with you exactly what I see on the charts with no repercussions and an audience that cares. There's no greater feeling than that. So now when we look at the charts, we're down 2.76%, but what we've done right now for XRP is we've put ourselves kind of in a spot here. We've got one layer here to hold until we directly signal ourselves sub $2. And that's why in the title, we'll get into how I titled it today. I'll let more people find their way here. For the early ones coming in, make sure to hit that like button. It would be fantastic if you, all of you early ones, I know all of you, Alec, UK Phil, JM, Joseph Euler, Mark Caston, thank you all for being in Tom's army. Help me take that extra mile with the first few of you in here to hit that like button so we can try to push this out there and try to make an even bigger dent here on YouTube. I have a bigger mission more than ever now to increase this footprint, and it's going to be a grand effort by all of us to make it happen. And I guarantee it's going to, because one way to make it happen is to just keep showing up and never stop showing up, regardless. So, good, bad, or indifferent, we're going to be here. Not just me, all of us. So I think we should, I think we'll keep it going in a big way. So, thank you all for who did hit the like button and shared this. Michael, welcome in. Jan, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Holy schmagolies. Thank you so much for that continued support. That is incredible. Zach, welcome in from South Africa. Excellent. Zach Clayhans. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. And also for putting content of your own out. I encourage everybody to go check it out here on YouTube. Oliver Marks, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. And I'm still a paid member, and his he's got his little thing with Patreon and stuff too, and it's informative. There's informative stuff everywhere. There's some informative stuff. Burn Everything, welcome in. JM, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty House Crypto News. Hit that like button, indeed. Hit that motherfucking like button. Yes. And JM's words. Alec Tony, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army. I think I said hi to you already, but again, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty House Crypto News. Frankie Fresh, glad to see you're here in your real name today. Says, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Hello, Tom. Glad to see you're getting back to your usual self. Janine and I love you, dude. I appreciate that. Oh, yes. Yes. Back to usual self. Feels pretty good. I think we've got a real directive here. I think our directive is clear. Arelli, welcome in, and thank you for continuing to come in and show support and try to learn with each and every one of us. Live Your Dream Media, welcome in. Good evening to you. Yavo, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. And that is my face superimposed on that emoji badge, along with Hayden, also in the first month in Tom's Army. So thank you, Hayden, as well. Says $1.50 incoming. Excellent. Thank you both for being in your first month. That's incredibly awesome to see. And it lets me know that there's more people that are joining for their first month, and it continues to allow me to grow and put this out the way I want for free. Shane, welcome in. Good evening. Alec Tony says confidence. See, Julie, confidence. Not confidence, confidence. Everything sounds better with Tom. Tom's Pretzels. But then you'd have to say presented by XRP Future Millionaire, and then there'd be like, oh, man. There's something going on with that place. We better go check it out. James Dula, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your third month with the XRP Meteor. No, James, I never got to you, my friend. I never got to you yet. XRP Zombie, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Along with CJ2 Pilot, yes, positivity over all. Positivity over negativity. We're not the victim, we're the winners. We're helpful, not hurtful. You know, that kind of thing. Good evening. 5:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan, a very muggy state of Michigan. But it is what it is. Let's see. Papa Willie, welcome in. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor, along with its own illusion. And drive safe, Papa Willie. I'm glad you're listening. Shane says, IOTA this cheap should be illegal. I'm watching. I think a good long position is coming. Want to get Tom's opinion. No, you'll get my opinion on IOTA. The problem is right now is they passed the big, beautiful bill. And that thing is not big and beautiful for crypto. It is for gold and silver. Yeah.
It's a bathing suit too.
Which one?
The black one on top.
Oh, you need one like that. That'll be perfect for if we go. Yeah.
And if we go to your dad's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like them, Julie. MSR cold rooms welcome in. Just turn them off. Turn them off. I don't know what I said or who you're talking to. Just turn them off. Good evening, anyone messed with the XRP ETF? No, I have not. I have not. Let's see. True, good evening. And thank you so much for tuning in. True knows a lot about the chart, so there's a few that'll come in here, but he's one of them. It's good to see you in here this evening because we're getting to a very interesting point with these charts. And we're starting to get to a point where we're really going to need some kind of quantitative easing. And I'm not talking about the big, beautiful bill. I'm talking about it's going to have to, we need them to come out. And I don't want this to happen, okay? Let me be very clear. Me personally, I want the opposite to happen. But if we're talking from a crypto sense, we need quantitative easing and the printing presses to go off and then the lower rates for crypto. And I've been calling for it in Q3, probably towards the end. But in Q3, I thought it was going to happen. They were going to make it to the point to where the public would basically be begging them to impose that. And that de-dollarizes, but it's good for crypto. Risk assets. Well, it's good for it because the dollar is going down, so inevitably the price is going to go up. But then when you match it with money printing, you end up getting a cycle like 2021 where we just went parabolic. But then you know how this all ends. We end up getting the the rates go back up. But what might happen this time, and think about it this way. What if they did a rate cut? And this is what they're afraid of. They know if they cut the rates artificially, interest rates are actually going to go up besides the rate that they put in place. So what I mean is they might lower rates to a certain percentage, like lower at 1 basis point, 100 points, or 1 basis point. You know what I mean. But in hindsight, you might still get rates going up on interest, like for a loan, for other things. The only thing that would be going down is our savings rate, which is nonsense. And what people are asking for is negative rates, and that means we have to pay the bank to have our money in there. Yes, it's true they would have to pay us for us to take out a loan, but just imagine how much more it's going to cost for the person trying to buy a house. And some people are like, well, hell yeah, that's a great thing. Of course I'd want the bank to pay me to take out a loan from them. Oh, man, we're conning them. Not quite. We want 20% interest rates because then on our savings, and you're a worker, right? You're an investor, right? You're not spending all your money, even though in this environment, the incentive isn't to put it in the bank. It's to gamble in something like crypto. And then when you figure it out and you make some money, you put it into a store of value like gold and silver. They try to mesh words so that you don't understand gold and silver is actually the store of value. Crypto is the risk asset for a reason. And yes, it can make us, and it will make us, and it has made us a lot of money. But we've also put a lot of money into gold and silver with those profits, and then leak some of them into the mining stocks. Because that's the cheapest way to get the gold and silver out of the ground, especially gold, through the miners. So, it's a whole big thing. But if we start looking at it from a standpoint of what needs to happen in this environment, Well, the big, beautiful bill is not going to be so great for crypto as it stands. They need to have a rate cut, and then they're going to have to go into severe quantitative easing. It's not by accident that the chart did this after this double rejection. And it was twice in a 4-hourly where it rejected that just over 229. And it was right around, what, 232 maybe? And then, but it rejected it. And I had some people I seen comment, a little criticism, but criticism's good. Keeps you sharp. They were like, oh, well, you said 229 was the pivot point, and it was at 232, and it came back over, so I guess it really wasn't the pivot layer to prove if we were bullish. I mean, if we would just slow down and just think about that. So if 229 is the level that tells us whether we're bullish or bearish, and you've got to hold it, otherwise it's just a bearish rejection. By going over it twice to 232 on consecutive 4-hour candles and then falling through, wouldn't that prove that it was still bearish? Quite the opposite of it meaning nothing. So just think about the ramifications here. So I mean, it's like instead of coming to the insult all the time, maybe we could take it from a positive standpoint and be like, okay, well, he said this. Now, why, if it didn't hold 229, instead of me being a dick, why would that matter? Well, okay, well, it didn't hold it as support here, so maybe it's not as bullish as I once thought it was. Now I see why he's saying it's got to hold 229 before you should think about it if you haven't bought in yet. Because then it would open the door to that push to $2.65. So it's more than just, oh, well, that obviously the pivot layer is not bullish. Of course, it's a pivot layer. Otherwise, I'd say that if it gets over it, it's bullish. That's why it's called a pivot layer. You don't know if it's bullish or bearish. It's going to tell you at that point. That's why it's the pivot point. So it can either be bullish or bearish based on its reaction when it gets over that pivot layer. Seems pretty obvious. But it's not, because sometimes we deal with emotion, which is crypto. When you're dealing with your own money, people get so nervous that this is what ends up happening. And if it's you, it's you. This used to be me, and sometimes it still is me. I'm not absolvent of it 1,000% of the time. So we buy into something. Let's just say you put $1,000 on it. You're up $250, and you're like, oh, I'm up $250. What the hell is the point of cashing this out? It's 25%, but I want more than that. Flip it around. You're down $250. You couldn't sell out quick enough to at least keep your $750, but you didn't use the same philosophy as before, and you're like, well, it had a quick drop like that, so what does the hindsight say? Well, it's probably going to have to retest that drop point, so at least I can get some of the money back. But it's like when you're losing money, your brain says one thing, and when you're making money, your brain says a completely opposite thing. Like when you're making money, you become greedy. Greedy Tom comes out. When I'm losing money, scared, and the scared Tom comes out. Your anxiety Tom comes out. The Tom that may not make the smartest decisions and just sell so he can keep some of it. But now I've learned, I've already lost 25% of it. I'm going to ride this to the grave. And the moment I started to learn that, especially in a micro movement, like right now, it's legitimately no man's land. Like you are legitimately in no man's land if you're buying these areas. And I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Because even if you buy XRP here, let's face it, you got a lot of shit to go through here still. There's gaps galore here. You got Bitcoin with this Chicago Mercantile Exchange gap. You got so much stuff going on here that most people, when they come into this community for the first time, I see it all the time in the lives. People come in and they hear what I say and they're like, oh, hell no. Jesus, if I wanted to be depressed, I'd listen to the news or something. But it's like, it's not about being depressed. It's about understanding, like, okay, we had an inverse head and shoulders here. We didn't get any volume to pull it up. So we did pull up where we should have on this inverse right shoulder down here. Because it came up to the resistance over here, didn't break it, and now it came back through. Now we're looking for a bearish rejection, and we're in that zone right now. So if we don't get above like 218 right now, oh boy. Oh boy. We were nice and bullish for a couple of days because of that little setup. But now we're in the oh boy, because we didn't pull any volume. But again, I understand there's the paper markets and yada, yada, yada. We get that. But from a standpoint that we are trading cryptocurrency, it can't just be, oh, there's so much manipulation, so that's it, Tom's giving up and, he's packing his bags. That's not how it works. I knew there was manipulation from the beginning. So, and people ask me like about DGB. If they put it on BITUNIX, I'll trade it again. If it's not on BITUNIX, I'm not trading it. Because the wallets are hacks and all of that. It hasn't killed my entire love for it. It just kills the way the community was presented, that's all. But if it's on BITUNIX, you better believe I'm going to be the first one to own it. It's just I'm not going to take the step of LBank over to fucking a wallet and take the risk of that and then know that the community's not backing it or what. Just that whole thing. But there's a whole line of ways that we can make money in a manipulated market. That's the whole point. So what do you have to do? You have to find the objective area to buy. I've stood firm on data, not buying it until it goes to 008. I don't care what kind of hyperbolic BS it gives us. I'm not falling for it. It can rise up there until it's... Look at where it went to. It tried. It went all the way up to what, 2? And now it's like, well, Tom, you could have sold. It's like, no. Remember, the people that want to buy in, they're looking for the long hold for that significant gain. And I promise you, they didn't buy it for 63%. They didn't sell it. I guarantee it. Now they're sitting here at 22% saying, well, not even understanding that big bear flag's going to wipe the rest of the game out. The gain, for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I'm not buying it until it comes down here. Like I said a long time ago, I think it's going to 0.008. It can throw the biggest hiss fit it wants out here, but I'm not buying it till it goes there. Remember ZBCN? Remember MXC? How we did that a few months ago, and we said I don't care what it does. I am not touching this with a 10-foot pole until it comes down to this exact spot. And then we did it with the other one, and what ended up happening because we had our due diligence, but now because of what this actually made. It's going to make us make a choice here now because it made this wide stance. And if it does break down, it gave itself a wider base. So unfortunately, this might force it to be a lower target here, which kind of sucks. So now I might have to do 0.063, but I'll still look at 0.08. But this is how you have to trade this. You can't just get all caught up. Like, and if I want to buy it, okay, break out of this formation to the top side and hold it. It's not hard to ask, so I'll buy it at 0.016. What's the big deal? And if it's going to do what it's supposed to do eventually, from 0.016, or I mean 1.6 cents, there's going to be massive gains. I mean, it's got a long ways to go, and this doesn't even do it justice. We got a long ways to go when it finally does go back up. And we haven't hit that third target yet there. So we're trying to figure out what's going on here, though, because if it breaks this, I think, and it did the step down in the beginning, we have never tested, and this is what I fear. And I think it makes sense. We've never come back down here except this one time. Wouldn't it make sense to just kind of reset and be like, okay, how much actual volume is there? So I think it makes a hell of a lot of sense to come back down there, so I'm going to stick with it. And you know the worst thing that can happen? I don't make $1 on it. But you see what's happening right now? There's a lot of people losing dollars on it. Just like in the crypto market right now. I know in the Telegram somebody asked me, and I'm not going to say who, and I'm not even going to talk more about it, but I talked about it yesterday, about holding it, and they asked me my opinion, and I said, listen, I know it looks bullish, but at best, you know, and yeah, it could break up. I was thinking it had to come down at least down to here, and I said it's going to come down to at least that 17 cent. But then when we measured it out during the live, we went a little bit farther. But the problem is here, with all of these bullish setups, I feel like it's trapped. There's no volume. I don't care what anybody says. Even manipulated or not, the trading algorithm throws volume in there when it's ready. Look at the difference in volume here from when we broke out in 24 to now when it's been trying to reverse. At some point, it's got to give me some volume. If we get some volume, it can change the whole name of the game. But this non-existent volume only leads to one thing. It's almost like they're pointing us up, and they're chopping down retail every step of the way, and they're getting the hopes up. And then when it does do this grand drop down to where it needs to fill these gaps, assuming it does, then no one's going to want to buy. It's going to be the same story I went through in 21, the same exact story I went through in 23 with the community. Even in 24, when nobody wanted to buy it 70, 80, 90. It comes to 38, and what do we hear? Oh, well, I'm not going to buy it till it comes sub 20. Well, you just said if it was going to be in this area, you would buy, but now you got to make it lower. That's what we do. You know? So, let's see. James, thank you so much for continuing in Tom's Army for 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Says when BBB is approved, won't we take off? No. It's already been approved. I thought the big beautiful bill already passed today by Senate. I disagree. I don't think it's big and beautiful at all. It's big and beautiful for gold and silver. The only thing that's going to knock... Yeah. See, Senate passes Trump's agenda bill. Isn't that the big beautiful bill? It's a disaster, is what it is. We already started digging our own graves. I mean, now we can't even afford to finish to dig them up. Our shovel's broke and we can't even afford a damn shovel. You know, like that's where we're at right now. The big beautiful bill. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to offend the Johnnies and the Karens. You know, so we'll just stay on point. So no, it's the same thing I said earlier. Oh, the bill passed, we're going down. The only thing I regret is not taking out a short. To be honest with you. Let's see. I think we have a better chance of swing trading XRP right now. I think we should just kind of sit back and let it do what it needs to do right now, personally. I don't think in a lot of senses, the only thing you're going to do by trading right now is lose your money. Unless you've got the right testicular fortitude and understanding. Because most of the time when you buy in, you don't have the wherewithal to sell it after a few percent gain. But right now, that's the game we're in. If you're looking for quick pumps, I mean, you're talking about maybe 0.5% to 1.5% on the retracement and back up and down. Like XRP did earlier. When we did the update, I talked about how it could come up and retest that 220 area. Maybe 221, and that's what it did. And then it just came right back through that weekly. You know, it's interesting. The daily right now, it's just, that's brutal. If it ends like this. If it ends like this, that's a brutal daily. It's not the end of the world because all it's going to probably do is signal at least to move to 207 again. Probably. But once it breaks that barrier down, could be a little problem. But Janine, I forgot Frankie Fresh said you're watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I really, really do. Really, really do. As I hear some of the significant others of some of the audience, it's cool to see even the ladies are watching too. I know we're much above average. I'm over 10% of my total audience, which in my category is only like 2% maybe on average. So I'm very proud of that. IQ, welcome in. Welcome in, William. It's good to see your name in here. Really, really good to see you in here. Mike is in here, and I'm sure I've got him all hot. Oh, here we go. See? Tom always gets me all hot and bothered. Well, I'm glad. You know? We are, well, what's the right word? I don't know what the right word is, but I'm glad. I'm glad that I can do something for someone. But welcome in, Mike. Let's see. G-Stat, I'll be able to buy more crypto with no tax on my overtime at least. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, hopefully it works out that everything's going to start popping up here. I mean, I really, like I keep saying, I want it to hold these levels because it's a lot easier when it's going up than when it's trying to, I don't know, trap. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Frankie Fresh said, I did good today, Tom. On a swing trade, I bought Skate yesterday, made $250. Now, that's a good trade. That's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. You deserve it, True. Let's see. I think I'm pretty caught up here. If I miss somebody, I apologize. I'm trying to... Just sometimes it goes so fast that I miss a lot. Marco, welcome in. Potentially 3 rate cuts by the end. That is what could make this really nice. And that's why I really wanted this to drop down and fill these gaps. Imagine if we would have filled these gaps. And now I understand it might not be as easy to do. Because, you're talking about a big drop for XRP for that to happen of like 77 cents. Or so, 67. Yeah. And Bitcoin would have to drop like 14,000 now to fill that gap. I don't doubt that it can happen, but it's made it a little more difficult. However, with that top side liquidity now, with that run up, it very well could have presented the right scenario for it to happen. With XRP, that's a brutal rejection there. Not only did it come down in yesterday's daily, today's daily kind of confirmed this. Remember, we have this bearish cross that happened in the 20, crossing the 50 and the 100 now. Well, the 100 and then the 50, but you're kind of doing it in reverse order. But it's the bottom line is it's crossed the 50 and the 100, chasing down the 200, and this is where you could reverse this real quickly. I still, in the bottom of my heart, I'm saying, you know what? This looks like a head and shoulders in some ways. It looks like a head and shoulders, and the fact that you have like head, some people would say shoulder, head, validation, rejection, come back up one more time, validation, rejection, it's building the stairs. And the next stair down would be to $1.50. And like if it's not a head and shoulders and it just is resetting from the shoulder, that means it would have to come down to $1.50 for that descending, I don't want to know if you want to call it a wedge, but just that descending consolidation there. And then if it's not meant to just be a pattern reset and it's like, okay, we're going to go start really filling some gaps here. Well, unfortunately, I know a looming one that's bothered me it's right around 93 or whatever. But if we start going down that track, oh boy. That's why I really wanted to just break out, but I knew it's false premonition. It's a pros. Even to want it to do that, it's not going to be sustainable if it does. Because we've got these areas that it's got to fill from an algorithmic standpoint. And someone's going to eat. And someone's got to bleed. See, look at it this way. If somebody else is eating, somebody else has to die in crypto. That's why it's a Ponzi as of right now. There's no actual revenue. So in order for, trader X to make money, or trader 1, let's call him, on XRP, trader 2 is going to have to lose money. I know it sounds stupid, but trader 1 is going to buy it, and then somebody else is going to have to lose something. So maybe trader 2 was a leverage trader going short when trader 1 bought, and then his long ended up paying off, and now the short got liquidated. But that guy made money, that guy lost money. It's that's the problem. For us to eat, somebody else has to not. And that's kind of a scary proposition. That's also the definition of a Ponzi scheme. Like, hey, you're going to make money only if somebody's willing to pay you more than you bought it for. Not for any real reason. We can float out all this tech stuff, but at the end of the day, is any cryptocurrency really different than any other if it can get there in the exact amount of time? Because for us, they can say whatever they want, and this is what I always find funny. If we compare XRP or XDC or some of the similar ones, DGB because it was quick, and just a lot of other ones that are quicker, and we say, well, XRP for this fact because of its blockchain and how quick we can get money from, it's like, come on now. Whether I get my money in 1.3 seconds or 4.1 seconds, I don't care. It's all the same to me. As long as it gets to me and there's no fee. And we've seen countless other blockchains where it's the same. There's no fee. So that's not something to tout. So there's got to be something more. And like the thing that's more for me is the fact that when you're looking at the government overreach, I feel like that they, along with Bitcoin, they created Bitcoin. Then they created XRP as the next part of this whole chapter. Then we lure people in with Bitcoin. And we'll also lure people in with XRP because they're going to have the expectation that it's going to be worth more than Bitcoin. But the truth is it's only going to be the market cap that ends up overtaking Bitcoin. Which can still give it a nice price, but it's not going to be anywhere near what anybody is presenting. And then when you go even deeper, now it's the one that has the parity with the U.S. government clearly because now they actually brought him to court so that they would have a legal clarity when it's the time's right. So that's why I keep saying, like, I'm XRP future millionaire, so I would hold XRP just for that regardless. But it's so much more than that. It's so much more because, but I also think you can't just hold forever. I think, like we've done, You buy and sell it. You buy and sell it when the time is right. You know, and you just got to make those hard choices. And with BITUNIX, it's not so hard anymore, is it? We can buy and sell it on demand with minimal fees. Like I could sell $22,000 in XRP right now and maybe pay 30 bucks. You know, so when you're talking about a game changer, that's what I'm talking about. So you got to think of it like that. But right now, we don't know what's going to happen. Sure, Bitcoin fell below 106,000. Wake me up when it's below like 104. Because right now it's still on the 200 day and the 4 hourly. So what has it really done? Held the 200 day. So, you know, we'll see what happens because it's not done yet. It's just we got to pay attention because we're like one layer away from having a big drop. So IOTA for Shane down 4.9%, sitting at 15.1% or 15.1 cent. Somebody said in the chat that I don't remember if I was in chat of this live or in the Telegram. They said, Tom, last time you took out a long, because I took out a leverage trade on IOTA last time at 15 cents on the drop down. When it was bouncing out of this, it came down here. I didn't buy it there, but it came up and when it back tested, it's in that 15 cent area. I decided to buy it and I had a nice long that was riding up. But now I'm not going to buy it when it gets back down there. This inverse head and shoulders is invalidating itself. Do you know what that means? That means the next step is to go back to the pattern. You have to reset the pattern now. So if you have the potential to break up in an inverse head and shoulders and it doesn't pan out, this ends up just being a bear flag. It's fine. It's kind of what we expected it to be anyhow. Or, actually, you know what? No, it's not. I take that back. I could argue. I might argue this. Hold on. Let me see something. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That, to me, feels right. That just feels right. Sure, you can do the micro level, too. I'll give you that. Here. I'll give you the micro. We'll do our little fan just to appease everybody. So, I like that a lot. So, the next opportunity... Ooh. 8 cents? Oh, that's perfect. That's the pattern reset from all the way before. Look at that. All the way back to February 2020, we can reset. Oh, this makes perfect sense. This makes perfect. I'm telling you right now, things are changing. If IOTA comes all the way down there, and we're at the bottom of this, mark my words, there will be a massive play if it comes down to 8 cents and it holds. Massive. Now we measure this from here because obviously it might not come all the way down there, so we just go by the localized uptrend. 10 cents at minimum. Ooh. That's it. See, that's within that 20% to the bottom. What's going to get us to get volume? Rate cuts and quantitative easing simultaneously. Same thing as 21. 24, we got volume for a small moment. But that's what's going to give us the volume. Because when they do quantitative easing simultaneously with rate cuts, they've got unlimited printing at the press machine. And the problem with it this time is we're going to start the slope like Venezuela. Not all at once when we got to bring a wheelbarrow to go get a pretzel full of money. But we're going to start going down the line where you're going to start to see the real value in holding precious metals here soon. Think about it this way. The US dollar right now, today is sitting at 96.65. That means even on its face value, $1 is only worth 96.65 cents in our own country. Not counting inflation, how they're going to raise things at the grocery store. Just on face value, if somebody wanted to charge you $1 for a product, just because of the weakness of the dollar now, they're going to have to charge you $1.03. $1.03.4 cents. So, you know, put it in perspective. Algo is probably a much bigger than 7% drop if this plays out, James, because it would lose the back test. And if it loses the back test, it's It's not going to be pretty. Like, nothing's going to be exempt from this. That's why I always tell people, don't buy when this happens. Unless you're damn sure. Because right now it's back testing the breakout. So you got to be sure that it's going to hold this. Because right now it's going to be a brutal looking daily to start. That doesn't mean it can't reverse it on the next daily, but this is going to be brutal. That 4-hour candle is brutal right now. And the problem is we gave that little volume that kicked in, we gave it right back. It's almost as if the trading algorithm was setting people up. So I almost think that what happened here is we bounced up like this because we had a lot of short covering. So there's a lot of long positions that by convenience with the shorts being laddered out by liquidation, you know, especially in futures markets, I mean, I feel like that's what ended up happening. Because this is the start of a bear flag on algo. You can't see it in the 4-hourly. Oh my God, that is brutal in the total crypto market cap. Oh, that's brutal. Look at, that's the right arm. I mean, like, this is just back. That's the Bart Simpson top too. Look at that. And it's progressively creating lower highs. This is brutal. Lower highs and lower lows at the same time. You know, yeah, well, that's my progressive thought here, so I'm not surprised. Now, if it breaks out, obviously we don't have to suffer through this fate. But I could see it coming all the way back down, and why do I put some stock into that? Because that's been the uptrend here. It's been the uptrend since the breakout, and it's had a lot of fun in going back to that uptrend. Now, you could come all the way back here and, you know, but I think when you look at it like this, ever since it broke back up, because if it goes below that, then it's like I'm not looking for a reset here. If we do, we're in some trouble. If crypto resets, I mean, you're going to put some zeros in front of some of this stuff. And I don't mean good zeros. I mean bad zeros. You know how DGB went from over a penny to below a penny? That kind of zero. Remember how MXC flipped to zero? Remember how ZBCN flipped to zero? Yeah, those kind of things. We're getting awfully close to ZIL flipping a zero as we speak. XLM is getting very close to that 20-cent mark now. Down to 22.5 cents again. If I didn't know any better, which I do, that's why I keep saying we're in a bear market. We've been in a bear market for quite some time. I understand that nobody wants to admit it, but we're in a bear market. Is it about time we all understand now? Does that, out of all of my audience, let me ask you, I'm going to do a quick poll, and I'll read it. How many of you finally agree that we're in a bear market? Look at that. This fell out and got rejected now. That's a brutal loss. Oh, we're not going sideways. We've been going down, my friend. It's been chopping sideways to go down to the next layer. We started, for XRP, we started at $3.40 at the end of the bull market. With XLM, we started at, when the bull market peaked, 63.4 cents. But look, it's not that we're going sideways. That's the illusion. Might be going sideways, but it's sideways and down. That's the worst kind of sideways action. It's sideways and down. Now, eventually, this can be a good thing because it'll break out eventually. But it's going sideways and down. There's not one asset besides Bitcoin you can show me that doesn't present the same case. Let's start up here. And we'll go into the weekly to make it easier. And yeah, I write a lot of stuff. Let me delete some of it just to make it easier to see. All right. So I'll go, and I had a video where I said I sold 75% of crypto up here in December, January. And I flipped into the mining stocks and not buying gold and silver because I had already been doing it for years before it got over 2,000 for gold with this audience. And with silver, we did it for a long time. But in 24, I didn't buy any, you know, so I've been able to watch it. But that's because I focus more on mining stocks because then I can buy and sell them when they finally have the value I want. But down 72% since that warning. You know, so if this is a bull market, I certainly don't want to be in a bull market. Like, how can this be a bull market? Like, have you ever wondered why these influencers keep saying we're in a bull market? We haven't been in a bull market in a very long time. 90% of this year has been a bear market. I hate to break it to everybody. That's why a lot of people can't buy the bear and sell the bull, because they don't know what's up and down. I've been saying this for 4.5 years every day. You've been so mind-fucked that you don't even know what a bull and bear market is. It's just like when you watch news, you're so mind-fucked that you don't know what's right and wrong. It's the truth. That's how they do it. But I can't say it. So IOTA was at 62 cents. It's down 75% from the top of the bull market. And it wasn't even really a bull market, but it was from how far down it was. So, I mean, how are we in a bull? 75%? Let me ask you a question. What bull market have you ever been in that was 75% down? Do I think we got a 4-year bull? No, I don't think we got a 2-month bull market. A fake one. Like I said when it was happening. Enjoy your mini bull market that ends up being a bull trap. And the only reason they were doing it is because you see all the campaign, you just got to follow the money. Remember all the campaign, and I don't care if you're on the right or left, Democrat or Republicans, you should be wiping your ass with both sides, because they're all full of shit. So you might as well use it like it's full, you know, they're just a source to the means to the end to screw us. But at the time I said, this pump is because every single one of these investors that they donated crypto. Remember, they were donating crypto, millions of dollars to Harris and millions of dollars to Trump. So no matter who won, you knew we were going to get some kind of parabolic spike. I didn't know how or when, but they didn't just donate for the good of their heart. They didn't just donate because they said, oh, Mr. Trump, we really believe in what you want, or Mrs. Harris, we really believe that you're going to do the right thing. No, they seen dollar signs and said, okay, well, we're going to expect a pump at the end of this. By God. And they end up making a shitload. So those contributions ends up being tax write-offs. And then they end up making far more than they even invested. That's what ended up happening. So that's where that fake money came from. Nothing more, nothing less. And I've been trying to preach that for 6 months. You know, at the dismay of a lot. But would you rather have lost 75% or me just act like everybody else and say we're in a bull market? Like, come on. I think it's hard enough to make $1. Why would you want to give it back? Don't give it back. Please. Don't give it back. Keep some of it for yourself for once. How about that? That's the new thing. We're going to keep some for ourselves. XDC. Yes, I've been tempted to, and every time I buy it, I have to sell it after 1 or 2%, but I can with BITUNIX. And now I haven't done anything for a few days. I've just been kind of sitting here now. A lot of liquid money. Down 63% from the top of this board. That's horrendous. But everybody keeps pumping the table that we're in a bull market. It's mind-boggling. It really is mind-boggling, because there's not a single thing I can go to that suggests. I mean, Zill never even got off the ground, but even it was at 3.6. Just down 72%. Nothing to see here. DGB, at least it got up to 2 cents, but it didn't do nothing. That's why I'm begging BITUNIX to where just put it on there so I don't got to do anything crazy to buy it. Oh, that looks spectacular. Down 68% from the top. So it's like, if you made money on it and you just, hey, it's in a bull market, whatever. Now you have 32 cents on the dollar. You know, that's my point. I don't want everybody to lose all their money, but trying to trade this market right now, you're going to lose money. I may not be the smartest man in the world, but when it comes to trading, I put my knowledge up to anybody when it comes to a chart. Because it's unbiased. I didn't go through a class. I wasn't taught from the schooling system. And this is the truth. Like, I would put it up against anybody. Anybody, especially on YouTube. It's not even anybody. That's why I keep saying we're built in quicksand. Until they start putting a solid foundation down, we're going to sink. Doesn't matter how much. See, here's the thing. It doesn't matter how much more you put on the top. The Ponzi eventually rolls over. And Bitcoin right now is the biggest Ponzi of them all, because look how much money he's needing to buy. Michael Saylor raises $2 billion to buy Bitcoin. You know, this country raises, or this company put in comments. They always common stock. You know what that means? For all of you, do you know what a common stock is? So what these companies are doing that are buying Bitcoin, they're leveraging out retail traders in their stocks. So MicroStrategy, for instance, they've been putting out common stock, which means they're diluting that stock the shareholders hold. And the only reason it was going up is because people were going on a frenzy because of Bitcoin. And that's on their balance sheet. The first time Bitcoin goes down 25%, watch what happens to some of these companies holding Bitcoin. The first time they get margin called, watch what happens to Bitcoin and how quickly it happens. Once Bitcoin is on that agenda and that trajectory, watch what happens to all the altcoins. I dare say that we're a couple zeros too far ahead of time right now on some of these. And like I said, XRP saved itself from probably flipping zeros because it went up so far and it's holding so strong. But make no mistake about it, like, this isn't over by a long shot, and I only fear what could happen. The only thing that's going to save us are all these rate cuts and quantitative easing, and that's why they're directing it in the exact time they are. I firmly believe that. But there's going to be a major opportunity in a few of these, and I'm not going to miss it. And the only way you're going to miss it is if you don't believe me. And a lot of times you believe me until it's the time to make a move. It's like, oh, okay, well, if everything sounds good to you, but then when it's time to make a move, you can't trust. Well, that's a problem. That's a problem. But like H-bar, that's another one that, like, everybody's like, why aren't you buying it back? I'm not buying it back because we bought it at, where was it at? We'll go back because we did the, I know a lot of you remember in 23, FOMO Friday and Winning Wednesdays. It was like, I think it was 5.2 cents. And then it went down to 4, and it had this big pull down back here. Then we bought it again when it came back down at 5 cents. Then we wrote it up and we sold it. I know some of it was over 30, but I ended up unloading the last part of it in the upper 20s, and I was not happy about it. But I said, I'm going to buy it when I feel right, and I just don't feel right now. And now it's all the way down at 14.5 again. I just don't like giving it all back, that's all. It's too hard to make the right buy in a bear market to not sell it in the bull market. And now look, we found ourselves back in a bear market. And most of these aren't even holding the back test, which is the crazy thing. Best thing I can tell you, Papa Wheelie, is just hold on. We'll get the validation up. So you got to pay 5 or 10% more. I'd rather, and wherever it ends up. Remember the old saying? Remember this? Don't want it, don't want it, don't want it, don't want it, don't want it. Oh my God, I'm very interested. I'm buying the dip, buying the dip, buying the dip. Wait a minute. No, the dip was here. All of this coming back down is just consolidation until it comes back down here. That's not a dip. So everybody ends up, I'm buying the dip. I'm buying the dip. I'm buying the dip. But I didn't want to buy the real dip. I'm only buying the dip because I seen it go up so much. And now I'm not saying that's what you're doing. But in my experience, that's what ends up happening. And it drives me up a wall because it's like the whole time it's in this accumulation zone. And I'm not speaking of you because you actually bought in 23 with us. Not just H-bar, but a few others. When we were doing 50 bucks a day or 50 bucks a week, and it kept us going so long that we were able to do 10,000 tokens of this and 10,000 tokens of that. And some of them even way more. But now everybody's so eager to buy the dip, but the dip cannot be a dip until it gets the proper dip. All this is a retracement out of a bull run that was articulated by bullshit. And when that happens, you reset. So I'm going to stick to my point. Until we get some kind of validation going up, I'm not buying shit unless it's for a swing trade. You don't even have to think twice. And guess what? Here's another thing I need to touch on because it's happening more and more. You see all the people impersonating me, whether via AI videos or whether via telling you to watch them or send them money to copy trade. First of all, I can only say this so many times. When we used to copy trade, you didn't send me money. You literally just linked up to me through if I was copy trading on HOTCOIN or wherever the heck I was at. You would just link your account to my copy trading account. You were the one who had the money in there, not me. I didn't even know how much money you had in there. So, but now people are actually sending these scammers money to trade for them for copy trade. That's not what copy trading is. So please don't do that. And just like, have I ever sent a message? No, I'm never going to send you a message. Ever. I don't send messages. If you want to send me a message on Telegram, You know what my Telegram looks like. If it's from some other douchebag who's claiming to be me, even if it's not my same Telegram, it's not me. It's that simple. If it's not Tom's Army and looks exactly like this, there's so many people that fall for it too. And it's like, I understand the allure of cheap money, but unless it's this Telegram with these conversations where you can clearly see us all talking, it's not my Telegram. There's no other Telegram that I run. I won't charge you. If I'm not going to charge you for my content, how am I going to charge you on the side like that? That doesn't even make sense. It'd make 100 times more doing it legitimately. So don't fall for that crap. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, it's all just as bad. They don't care about its creators. YouTube's a little easier because they'll kind of shut it down, but they don't care about the ones who are impersonating me in the comments. If I report it, they don't care. TikTok, I reported and they banned me for a week and said that I was impersonating my own content, even though I was the one banning. They were trying to, I'm serious. I got banned on TikTok once because I reported somebody for impersonating me, and then they said that I was impersonating myself. And then they said, oh, we're sorry, after reviewing it, you were not. In fact, you're the rightful owner or whatever. It's like, well, of course I am, but you're not doing anything about these 3,000 other accounts. Same thing with Facebook. I got banned on there for a couple days because I reported, apparently they said I was reporting myself. It's like, no, I'm reporting the impersonator of XRP Future Millionaire, not actually me. How stupid are you people? But that's because it's an algorithm. So, you know, it's not people at all. That's the problem. So I'm going to stick to my whole point here too. I believe that the quantum computing, at some point, they're going to be able to mine fake digital blocks of Bitcoin and all these other cryptos that are digitally mined. Between the evolution of quantum computing and AI merged together, they're going to be able to fake the code. I'm telling you right now, and that's something I'm waiting for. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I've had dreams of this. I can feel it. It's going to happen. Now, here's the compelling thing about HBAR. It's back testing right now. The question is, do you think that this is a legitimate hold here? Is there anything that tells us with any of these, like file at 220? I would have punched myself in the face for not even considering this at 220. But like I said, I'll see you at 35 cents maybe. And if that happens, that's going to be the craziest time ever, because if file's at 35 cents, I can't even stomach to think what some of these other ones are going to be at. If theta ends up playing this road and breaks down, it's going to reset, and it might not be 35 cents. You might get a reset of theta under 10 cents, you know, 12 cents, 5 cents. If that happens, what are all the rest going to be? Look at the volume, guys. This is what I mean. Theta was crushing it in volume until 21. Now look what it did. It didn't do anything. Nothing. All they did on the algorithm was turn the cells off. That's all they did. Let's see. Good looking out, Tom. Thank you. I agree. I came last summer, August or July, so I've been buying at Targets to build my bags of long holders, which I still have taken this. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. No, you've done fine. You did good when it was coming up, too. It's just hard because look at theta, the weekly sell volume. That is craziness. And then on the reversal candle, when it was supposed to give us some positivity, look at what was supposed to be green. There was nothing, which caused it for an immediate reversal here in the weekly. Now, the good news is it's early in the week, but Jesus Lord, where's the volume? Like, and I try not to pick on XRP and some of our other tokens, but Jesus Louise. Can I get some volume? Some of these, they didn't even show it because of the charting, but MXC, look at that volume it had when it broke out. Like, Jesus Lord. But does it really mean anything without follow through? That's why I said we'll look at it again when it backtests the breakout. No great breakout ever goes through without backtesting the initial point. It just doesn't happen. The algorithm doesn't allow it. And I've learned over time, it doesn't matter how pretty it makes it. Just wait. And now look at all the people that wrote it up with us but didn't sell. Like, we literally bought the nuts here. We had the backtest. We bought the nuts. It wrote up. Then we waited for the backtest. Well, actually, no, this was after it wrote up. We didn't buy any of this. Just like when it did it before, we waited till it hit our mark again. And now it's in a bona fide bear market. Look, it's down 76% from the top. Remember when I sold it? Basically, we were at the top of this level here. We did good. We did good. And now I said I'll wait until it comes back down here. And in real time, it's like 0.0004, 0.0036. And yeah, if it would have went up, okay, it went up. I didn't make the money, but it didn't hurt me. Might have hurt my spirit a little bit because I wasn't in it. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to screw yourself if you don't wait for a pre-target. This is my pre-target. Just like with ZBCN, remember the pre-target? I said, I don't care what it does. I don't think it's going to hold 3.3. I think it's a good bounce layer. And it was, but I didn't think it's going to ultimately hold it. I think we have a looming gap there at 0.021. It's the same gap that I thought we had at 0.0145 on ZBEC. And that's where we bought it in, and then we shot up right after it hit it. And remember, we bought ZBEC back here earlier because of someone in the audience who gave us some great intel. And I ended up doing some big research. And we bought it farther back. Or no, not back there, but we bought it earlier in the year too. And we had a nice move. That's when it initially broke out of this bearish pennant. Or whatever the hell this was. It was something similar. But we rode it all the way to here, and then I said, I'm not buying it. But I sold it, and I said, I'm not buying it until it comes to 0.145. And it even came artificially, and then it had a nice little rally. It came up, and that's where it left the gap. Once it came up, and we had to wait. You know, you never know. Oh, no, wait a minute. The buy-in was here. This was the initial one. And then it came up, and when we sold it, we said we're not buying it until it comes down. Then we rode it, and then I said I'm not buying it until it comes back down to 0.021. Just like after the initial break, we said we're not buying it until it comes back to 0.014 after we had it from 0.008 to 0.002. Even though it went to 2.1, we didn't get the top. And then we said we'll buy it at 0.0145. And then after the rally, we said we'll take a stab. Let's go in real time because it's way over here. Or we'll at least pay attention to it when it gets to 0.021. And I'm standing by that. That's what I'm looking for. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I got nothing to sweat about. You know, so that's my program today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really, really do. Just a lot of stuff. So that's the best way I could articulate it. Have a blessed evening. We'll do this again very quickly. Gold and silver had a pretty good day. It's up $3 right now since the flip at 6. Silver's over 36. Still had a nice close. Mining stocks did pretty good for the most part. They've been on a nice little run here. Obviously, the prices are way higher than when we first started talking about them, so it's